She said, don't wanna be with you, let's say my name. I just give another excuse, yeah, she don't wanna say.
Welcome to the For the Record podcast, formerly known as What You're Thinking. We have a special guest in the house today, Malika. Welcome. And your host, Vincent, and myself, of course. Good to see you guys. Welcome back for season 4. A little change to what we're doing. We only have 3 topics for the Hit the Brakes or Carry On segment, and then we get right into the Hear Me Out topic. So, for the first Hit the Brakes or Carry On topic, for those who don't know about the whole Will Smith and Jada thing, it's been involuntarily on our news feed for like ever now. And it came out recently that 2016 is when they split, but they kept that to themselves. I mean, honestly, it was nobody's business. But after all that stuff that's come out, Jada, fantasizing about Tupac and saying Chris Rock hit her up, which is why the slap happened and all that. Basically, she's saying that, Will's sticking with her after all that. So I want to know, did you guys want to dig into that, or did you just want to keep it moving?
I feel like we go. Black, you go ahead.
I feel like we can talk about it. I feel like social media plays a really big part on messing up people's minds when it comes to relationships. There are a lot of things that are happening in marriages that we have no clue about, and it could be in our own homes, honestly. It's just that now, because of social media, everything is on Front Street. There are a lot of women and men who've been cheated on, unfortunately, in their marriage, and they stayed. When you build a foundation with somebody and you put so much work into it, walking away it's like walking away from an asset that you put so much into. Do you really want to walk away from an asset? No, an asset is an asset. So I just feel like everybody has an opinion, but they've never been in someone's shoes. So that's just how I feel about that. Whatever they had going on, and they were together for so long, they might have fell out of love with the new person. Because, over time, we grow daily. So the person that you started with in a relationship is not the person that you're going to end with years later. But if you're no longer in love with that new person, things happen. And I feel like they did the right thing. They had children together. You want your children to grow up in a 2-parent household for, statistically, have a better outcome and all those different things. And it seemed like it worked for them because their children feel love. They feel all these different things. And they're being exposed to things because of social media. But I think it's better that way than any other way because let's be clear, they're all 4 of them in that household have more money than all of us right here. So are they really doing that bad? I don't think so.
Agreed.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good way to put it. But also, I feel like Will could do a better job as far as being the man of the house. You should. I personally don't feel like you should have your wife on television, basically talking you down to the world, and then when it's your turn to say something. Obviously he did what any real man would do. Just ignore all the clout seekers, all the interviewers, everyone with their personal opinion. Because like I said, whatever goes on in your house is technically your business. And at the end of the day, the money is there. Don't get me wrong, the money is there by all means. But at the same time, I feel like every household should be built in a dynamic of, hey, this is our home. This is where that's the front door over there. We keep it closed at nighttime. So whatever happens in here, I feel like the world shouldn't need to necessarily know. And if Jada has such a big problem with Will, that she's voicing all these concerns on television, like I said, these are conversations that need to be held in the household. So for you to be going public about that kind of stuff, it kind of shows how you value loyalty and how you look at it. Because from what I see, Will is mostly a pretty quiet guy, and a lot of things that have me confused are the simple fact that she's sitting here on interviews and she's saying that she doesn't know why Will decided to slap Chris Rock that night. She doesn't know she doesn't understand him. He's just doing things to do it. So it's we're getting a lot of back and forth, and it kind of doesn't make sense to me. But like we said, they raised successful kids. They seem like they have happiness whenever they could find it. But me personally, I just feel like certain conversations need to just be held in the house, kept in the house.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I think at the beginning I was saying from a man's standpoint, right? Your wife is disrespecting you crazy in front of the world. But then as time passes, especially when he recently said he's gonna stick by her, my thought is, like we said, there's a whole marriage going on. We don't know what happens behind closed doors. And also to the asset thing, y'all not only married, but y'all got kids, and they seem like they're fine. So I mean, they're a little different, but like those
Yeah, a
those
little
are their
different for
kids.
sure.
So
Exactly.
with that being said, it's like it's not as easy. People on social media love being like, "Oh, I would do this or I would do that," but like we're not in their shoes, so we can't even say what we would or would not do. So you can't just walk away from what they built over. I think it was 2001 they got married or 2002. You can't walk away from what you've had for 20 plus years that easily.
That's
And
true.
especially
And
if they've been split since 2016, that's
yeah,
like bad
exactly.
time.
I also think we have to think about the dynamic of their relationship from the years. Jada has always showed more dominance than Will. And I really feel like Will loves Jada more than Jada loves Will. It might have been a convenience thing. Like when a man really shows you all the things that you know you deserve, but it might not be the right man, and you're just like, maybe I can go along with this. Then children come into play, and he's like, am I really about to leave him? I'm not really about to leave him. So I really feel like there's a lot going on in that relationship that has nothing to do with anybody who's commenting about it. That it's just like we're just seeing bits and pieces. The same way Vincent said, one minute she said she didn't know why Chris Rock was acting the way he was, and then the next minute she gonna say that he hit her up. Which one was it, friend? Which
Right.
which one
Pick
is
your
it?
lie.
Yeah, like first of all, you're supposed to pick a line and you're supposed to stick to it until you die, but
Yeah.
you're making stuff up. So I just feel like it's just so many different moving parts when it comes to that. It's just like you don't know what to believe, honestly.
And
Right.
But at the
And
end
then
of the day,
you already know.
household things to stay in the house.
Yeah,
Period.
agreed. And we already know celebrities
Period.
move different anyway. Like you ever notice like everyone's been talking has been regular people on social media. Other
Mm-hmm.
celebrities not really speaking on it.
Because
Like,
they know their house. They know they got
yep,
things going on in there too, and they know that what's going on in my house is not about to be on Front Street like them. So
right.
I'm just gonna be quiet.
I also think she has like mental health issues. If I'm being totally honest, like just like you said, like she's switched up so many times. It's like what's true. Like I think there's something. Like it's so ironic that she has a red table talk because I think she needs to be broken down. Like she needs to be shrunk. Like I'm talking like
well, we don't know.
I'm talking like a Yanla fix my life.
Literally,
Like
not my life.
so yeah, that's all I got to say on that statement. Y'all ready to move on to the next one?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, sure. Let's
Keep it
go.
moving.
Okay. For the next one, Mariah Carey. She's had such a successful career, but people still just put her in the box as like Miss Holidays because sings a song. Now there's even like social media posts about it. She's like defrosting because the holidays is coming. So her "All I Want for Christmas Is You" song. She's being sued for 20 million in damages now from I forget the guy's name, but like the guy had a song that came out first in '89 of the same exact name. And apparently, it's not the first time that he sued her for it. So this is like a regular occurrence. But did you guys look into that? Or do you think it was nothing?
I mean,
I'm okay.
yeah, I'm yeah, I'm
Perfect.
okay. I'm good off that. There's no point
Okay.
in wasting that time. I'm not gonna waste that time.
Yeah, not at
It's
all.
silly. For the last topic for this segment, so it came out recently that Tina Knowles, Beyonce's mother, said that like Beyonce does not. She said like she doesn't play, and they said like she can be like mean like backstage. Did you guys want to dig into that or just keep moving?
Um, for the sake of the segment, I'll say something. I just feel like Beyonce's doing her work. She's at work, right? So she wants things to be done a certain way. And sometimes when people don't have the same vision as you, it kind of might piss you off every once in a while. And she's such a perfectionist that she might seem like she's being, for lack of a better word, a bitch, but she just wants things to be done the right way so that her craft is properly shown to the people who are paying the money, rent money, to come and see her. So that's what I'll say about that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. The first thing I thought of is like how Kobe Bryant, most of his career, was thought of as being like a dickhead. Um, but he got 5 rings to show for it, and he's respected by everyone before he died. So it's like it's kind of that thing. Like you know what you're capable of. You're demanding greatness from the people on your team. So you may come across as like a bad person, but like you said, striving for perfection. It kind of makes sense. Like you either on this road with me to achieve success, or you not. So I can see it
Exactly.
might rub people the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I agree with both of you. especially someone like Beyonce, where your craft basically determined your future and your life. Like when you get to a certain
Hmm.
level, you expect a certain type of respect from other people. And the thing about other people, when you're self-made like that, it's kind of hard for certain people to like understand or relate to you or even respect you in certain cases because a lot of people they're gonna take the ignorant approach. Like, bro, I worked a 9 to 5 my whole life. You just get up and sing, like. But if
Which
you're
is
that
crazy.
person, yeah, like that's how people are. But it's like if you're the person who was self-made like that to the point where like, yeah, you have this God-given craft, you understand your mission, and like I said, like people are paying rent money to come see you. Like I need my respect. Like first of all, if you're gonna be around
I
me
need
and people are dropping
that.
bands to come see me, I need my respect. And second of all, like I'm about to go up there, I'm the one burning out my lungs, singing and doing all this stuff. So like that's another reason for you to respect me. So there's just so many things that fall in line whereas like I kind of understand where she has to be aggressive to other people who don't take her seriously because let's be real, when you're in certain settings, you're gonna have the selected few people who can relate to you and understand like your main vision, your main goal. But you're always gonna have the assholes that are just gonna try to feel like they're more dominant than you in situations where you have full control, which are her situations backstage where you guys are here for me.
Hmm.
So like if you're not here to support me, you're gonna hear my mouth because like certain things just shouldn't be going down, period. So I respect it personally.
Yeah, I do respect it. It's always that conversation about the entrepreneur and the 9 to 5. Respectfully, we all have 9 to 5s, right? But we know exactly what we have to do to get each task done. We know, right? She has to come up with choreography. She has to eat a certain way. She has to do a lot of different things to get the product that's done. And that doesn't happen from 9 to 5. There's more work that she has to put in to get what she wants to get done. So she deserves the respect. Because if she doesn't do one thing, she's not gonna get something else. And
Yeah.
that's just the gist of it all. Like, so it's really different. I think she, like Vincent said, she should get all the respect. And if those people who are not doing that, you would hear my mouth as well.
Exactly.
Yep.
And I have the perfect analogy for it. Like it's like Eric, like if you had a best friend who was a female and today's her wedding day, so like the bride, like and you're trying to have like joking like normal conversations you would have with her, like if you guys went to a bar or a restaurant, like let's be real, you're gonna get the bad side of her, like if you're trying to do
Yeah.
that. Because this person's thinking about just getting that day over with. This person wants photos to be like in line, everyone to be in line. Like this person wants that day to go a specific way. So if you're gonna spend that particular day acting like it's any other day, like you're asking for it.
I'm gonna think you don't respect me,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Yeah.
there's no other way to put that.
Exactly. So it's
Yeah.
same concept, just a different setting, but essentially the same state of mind.
Yep. Agree.
It's
Yep.
And
crazy.
I think to go off your point too about like the looking at her as like aggressive and whatnot, that's like a trigger word for me just because like of all like the social. So I minored in social when I was in college, like we focus stuff like that,
Hmm.
and you always hear like these societal norms with like different genders and stuff, right? So like a woman is viewed as like aggressive when she just like standing up for herself or like has a vision and is
Hmm.
bringing it to fruition. But that's dead wrong because like you're saying that a woman can't be outspoken. Like
Hmm.
a woman can speak just as much as a man, and definitely in this position where like she's in charge of like, oh, this is her tour. So like, it's totally fine to have to take on that dominant role that
Hmm.
really is for anybody, not just for a specific sex. But yeah, so it's about breaking those societal norms and stop viewing women as supposed to be like passive and whatnot.
Amen.
Agreed.
So
Mhm.
so I do have a topic. I just want you guys to hear me out. So a big
Mm-hmm.
thing that's been trending on social media recently is the simple fact that so it's a simple question. So like as far as like income, salaries, whatever you want to call it, should there be levels to it? So like if you're a woman making 100K a year, 200,000 a year, whatever you're making a year, 6 figures. We're talking 6 figures. Would you would it be fair to deal with someone making like let's say 40K a year, 50K a year, 60K a year? Like, would that relationship go anywhere? Will it fail?
I didn't
Or
even think that way.
or would you consider like spending the time in that relationship? So I just want to hear from you guys.
Eric, you go
Want me to
first.
go first? Okay.
Go first.
I know we spoke about this recently, Vincent, and I think I would ask myself a few things, right? Like, one, are they like complacent, right? Like, are they totally fine making 50K for the rest of their life? Or are they grinding towards something else? Because if we build a strong foundation and like we're in love, right? And, you're like working towards it, and I'm seeing you climb the ladder and like, the hierarchy and work, then I'm gonna be patient with you. I mean, of course, it's gonna be annoying having to take on the financial burden for a lot of different things, obviously. Um, and obviously, let's say I'm the breadwinner here. I'm just speaking from that perspective, right? So if you're complacent, then that's a no, because like you're fine making that much, and I'm making like 3 or 4 times what you're making. That's not cool. But like I said, so I'm asking, are you grinding, and also are you really good with your money? Because some people, believe it or not, like don't make a ton of money, but they're so good with their money that you wouldn't even know that they're struggling. So I think that's something I would take into account as well. But yeah, the complacency definitely can't be there, because if you don't have that ambition, then that's just like a personal thing for me that I'm not on board with. But I also think too, it's like one of those things where, it's really hard to find solid people in this day and age. So I think people need to compromise more in this time, like during this day and age versus like back in the day. Because if you get out there in the world and see how hard it is to find solid people, you wouldn't be having like these like small, strict little things that like you can't compromise on. Like, you make this, oh, you're this zodiac sign, can't do that. You're this height, can't do that. Like, if you really got out there in the world and see how hard it is to find solid people, you wouldn't be so irrationally like picky. Because it's fine being picky, but being irrationally picky is something totally. That's my thoughts on it.
Here we go.
Okay. So first I want to start with, you have to be logical, like you said, about what's outside, right? And then you have to think about the amount of okay, let me start. If you want to date a black man who makes 6 figures, you have to go look at the statistics about the amount of black men who make 6 figures. And we're not talking ball players, we're not talking rappers, we're talking about regular black men who are making 6 figures. So then you have that pool, right? Then you have those pool who don't want black women. They want other races due to whatever preference they have. I personally, and this is something that I'm actually going through like in my mind right now, like just really thinking things through, like we're all really about to be 30. So it's just like I'm really thinking things through because I've been told that my standards are too high. So I'm starting to really think about what's really realistic, and I feel like 50,000 is crazy. I'm not gonna hold you. 50,000 is crazy. I don't know if I could do that. I'm not gonna lie to you. Okay, but I will say that 2 incomes do equal another number. Okay, so if we're building together, right, we can still get the things that we both want with our incomes together. Now, if a man is stagnant, he can walk out the door. I don't care how handsome he is. I don't care whatever he has going on, because I'm a very ambitious woman, and the goal is to be a millionaire. The goal is to have multiple assets. If you don't understand my drive, we're never going to click. We're not. But then I had a conversation with a friend. He said, Malika, you think about how Malika thinks, not about how others think. Others think. And you have to think about it this way. Someone who lives in the South, who works at Walmart, her boyfriend works at Walmart, their family has worked in a certain type of space, made a certain type of money, and they're used to this. What we're talking about doesn't bother them. They're really happy, guys. They probably have like 6 kids, They're having a time. It really has to do with what works for you at the end of the day. And I feel like that's really what everything boils down to. You have to stay focused on what works for you. And again, I keep tying things back to social media, but social media really has people living in delusia, so to speak.
Mhm.
Because the things that these girls are saying, I'm just like,
No
you don't
cheesecake.
even. What's wrong with the Cheesecake Factory, y'all? What's wrong with it?
Right.
What's wrong with it?
Facts.
Because the man who works on Wall Street who doesn't feel like going home is going to be sitting at that bar having a beer. And you can have a great conversation with him and learn a lot.
Mhm.
Because he's so smart with his money. He's not going to Ruth Chris every day. He's going to the Cheesecake Factory. He's looking through his phone, looking through his emails, might even be watching the game. But you have a conversation with him and gain some new knowledge. But you went through Ruth Chris where Day Day and Quay Quay was there because they just hit a lick. And you ain't like nothing.
Yep. Not quite.
Not a thing. I know, I just made stuff up, guys. I'm sorry.
No, I love it though.
But it really just goes back to like, and a lot of these girls who want these things for men, and I'm not saying that they shouldn't. I'm saying that do you know what comes with that type of man? You have to understand those type of men with that type of money are looking for a woman who is an asset to him, not a liability. And if all you're worried about is his money, you're a liability to him. You are. You're not going to feed into him. He's not going to learn anything from you. You're not going to learn anything from him. You're not going to help him grow because you're fixated on one thing. When the reason why he is where he is because of his ambition and the things that he's learned through his life. But if you have no desire to learn any of those things or be able to feed into him, it's not going to work. Okay,
That's true. Yeah,
All facts. Good to hear.
I'm gonna piggyback off of that. Like me myself as a black man who's always had a drive for ambition, who's always been climbing and still is climbing at this very point. Like I can definitely relate to that. Like once you so like you said, like once a man who's already making six figures is a man who doesn't want to be with someone who's only gonna bring him down further. If anything, he would want someone who's like close by or like has the ambition to keep going. So like if we have a conversation, if I'm making six figures and we have a conversation and during that conversation you mentioned that like, hey, I'm trying to do like I'm here, but I'm trying to get here. And then after I get there, I'm trying to get there too. Then it's like, all right, boom. Like this is someone that I most likely will have a better chance in clicking with because we can have conversations. So like a lot of people don't realize, but the main thing that keeps relationships going is the ability to have conversations. Like if certain people, like we're not dropping names here, but like certain people like that I know personally, like their relationships aren't doing too well because they're not at a point where they can't have a conversation. Things are just stagnant. The only thing they can do is just watch TV, watch Family Feud, and hope that Steve Harvey do some bullshit that's gonna make them laugh. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the only time that they actually enjoy their relationship, and it's sad. So
because it's the beginning. It's not
exactly,
even.
exactly. And then
Yeah.
like you have people who are in relationships now for like 10 years, and that's where they're at. And then I look at that and I'm like, bro, like this is where you guys are gonna be at for the next 10 years if you make it, because you're not understanding how to have a conversation. And then in the very beginning when you got together, since you don't know how to have a conversation now at this point, that means when you first met, you weren't getting your points across. Like, hey, I'm here now, but I'm trying to get here. Like you guys weren't really understanding each other. So I think that's the most important thing. Like screw the going to Cheesecake Factory versus Catch New York. Like you should be going to the Cheesecake Factory, number one. You go in there, spend your little $80, might drop a tip, 96, not even 100. But
This guy's hilarious.
while you're in there, it's about having conversation, understanding each other. Or these girls that are on social media speaking as if they know what they're saying, I feel like it's just you just clout chasing. Like you don't really mean that because if you meet a guy that you really like, it don't matter if you want to go to Chick-fil-A. You're gonna go to Chick-fil-A with him because
You're
you're there for the vibe. If you meet the right person and the
you
vibes,
gonna get that sandwich and that lemonade
exactly,
easy.
and you're gonna get them waffle fries. And
Yes,
you're
you
gonna ask,
are.
and
You're
you're gonna,
gonna
It's
love
about that
you're
one.
gonna
quality
ask
time.
him,
It's that
and you're
simple.
gonna ask him to go to the cashier to ask for another barbecue. So I'm not really trying to hear it.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, like
I don't
everyone's
understand.
just cloud chasing to me right now, personally. And I feel like if we're being realistic, that's where we need to go. So yeah,
No, I totally agree. I'm sorry to butt back in again, but I had a man "Oh, like I love you. I want to be with you. I've known you for years. You don't want to be with me. What's wrong with me?" I said, "What kind of man do you want to be?" "I want to be a husband. I want to take care of you, have kids. What's your plan?" "I don't know. Why does that matter?" Sorry. What?
Right.
And
You know, I have a
I'm
plan,
gonna
but you
speak
want
for
to
the
do this with
guys.
me.
Like I'm gonna speak for the guys. Even if you don't have an answer to that question right then and there, like you just need to be realistic. Like obviously, if someone's asking you this, like they wanna, they just want to get a clue, right? So like even if you don't know, it's okay to not know what's about to happen. None of us do, but it's better to just like quickly
At
think.
34? At 34?
Okay, yeah, 34 is crazy, but at the same time, even if you don't have an answer, like it's better to go with what you feel in your heart. So like if you one day want to have kids or you want to be a husband or whatever, like you need to like say that. Like one day I want to be a husband. It hasn't happened yet, but I haven't given up. I mean, you saying that at 34, by all means, like that's your business. But like,
And mind you,
Or
we all,
honestly,
life is a process, right? So I have no problem with you being in a certain place in your life because we're in certain places in our life right now,
hmm
right? But just a conversation like, yo, I'm doing this right now, but I want to try to get this done so that we can get this done. But you telling me I don't know and you've been in the same job since I met you is a problem for me. It's just for me.
fair.
Some women might be like, oh, that's great. You've been there for 5 years. Oh my gosh. How much did they increase your pay? Like, are you a manager now? Like, I just have so many different questions, but everybody doesn't think like that.
Yeah.
And it's not even like
Or
I
to
want you to
even,
be in these positions to say that you're doing it, but because you should want that for yourself.
yeah, that's a fact. And to be honest, like I think in that position, also speaking for the guys, I would be like, I don't know, but whatever I do, like as long as you're right here with me, baby, like I want to figure it out together. Like
right, baby.
I'm working on something.
Right here, baby.
Like,
Yeah,
like we go, we,
Oh, that's
we could
so
work on it together.
cute.
Like I could be working on, something. I could be like, I don't know, I don't have the specifics, but like I'm gonna be working on something because like I got to be a man that's there that can provide for you, but I also don't want to do this while you by my side. Like that's how I would be thinking personally. That wouldn't just be me
Lines,
pulling
it
out the
didn't
sky.
work.
I would really feel that.
Yeah, those lines didn't work. For me personally, because I'm so, but it's probably because I don't see him in that light, right? If I really saw him in that light, I probably would have been down for it.
Mhm.
Being realistic, like I'm a lover girl, like I would have been there for it. But there's like certain things that he had did that was just like we're not equally yoked, and I've learned that dealing with men that I'm not equally yoked with does not work, even if I
Waste of
try to
time.
make it work. It's a complete waste of time. So I get what you're saying, Eric. It was real cute. It was cute. It
I mean, that's really what I would be feeling of, like, because like sometimes, I mean, it depends on who the man is, but like some people really do just need that like partner in crime that they can like go through life with, and then like that question would definitely make me think like, wow, I don't have a plan. Like I'm gonna start working on the specifics of that plan. You know, I mean, but then there's some guys I would just say that just to like
See, look,
get the girl.
that's where you gotta understand. It's different calibers of men. So like we getting way off
Yeah.
topic, but it's different calibers of men. If you want to sit here and believe that beta men don't exist, that's on you. If you want to sit here and believe
Oh,
that alpha men don't exist,
Oh yeah.
that's on you. You feel me? It's
that's a
different
Oh
fact.
calibers of
yeah.
men, and like I'll be real with you. A lot of us men, we need so like all the betas, they need that advice from the alphas. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
because there's no reason for females, and I'm not, by all means, everyone's open to their own opinion, but there's no reason for certain women to be feeling this way about men. And they're speaking obviously from their personal
Experiences.
experiences. So like
Hmm.
I'm gonna just drop some advice. Like if you're a guy and you work at Walmart for whatever reason, you're 34, you're not making the money that you thought you were gonna make, like you shouldn't be in lobby trying to get VIP sections. You shouldn't be in lobby at all. If you want to lobby, just get your food to go. You should be in the house on Coursera, Udemy, or like just going to school, like figuring out what you want to do. Because I'm a believer in maximizing as much time as possible. If I get a job, every job that I've had, I got promoted within the first 6 months. Like I'm all about you going somewhere. They're giving you a certain salary, whatever. but you're thinking of ways to maximize your time. I feel like that's what we all should be doing. Once you get that, then you worry about getting a female or going to the lobby to buy a section. Because then it's like, all right,
Oh, I
cool.
can't wait for my topic. Oh my gosh, you just segued into my topic. But we're gonna let Eric go next. But what I'm
How
gonna
you go
say is,
next?
you want me to go next, guys? You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks for the segue. It was perfect. Do you guys think? Hear me out. That people who are not financially stable or in a good financial space should be dating.
Mm,
I think, as a rule of thumb, no, because I think you need to work on yourself and build what you want to build, or at least start building what you want to start building, um, before you even put your foot and your toes in the water, like to see what's up in the pool, because that's going to turn off a lot of people. Like you said, to your point, like if you ask them like what's the plan and they don't have a plan, that's going to turn off a lot of people. So I would say, as a rule of thumb, no, they shouldn't date if they're not like financially stable. But again, going off my prior point, like some people really are more effective and like or more productive rather when they have a partner. Some people are just made that way. I'm not saying that's right or wrong, but some people are made that way.
yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna say for sure you shouldn't be thinking of dating if that's your situation. I mean, by all means, like you should just be like, if you're a guy in that
I'm
situation,
sorry. It's Vincent's monotone voice sometimes that just makes me laugh. I'm not laughing at you, Vince. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
nah, it's all good. But like, nah, like if you're a guy in that position, like, and you see a female that looks good, you need to just compliment her or just notice that she looks good. If you have a lot to work on, right? So, with that being said, like, I don't think it's a bad thing to not necessarily put yourself forward for that particular time period because, like, if you get into a relationship and you're in that situation, you're only going to stress your stuff out more because then you get with somebody, they're going to want to go places, they're going to want to do things, and honestly, those conversations are just out of budget, right? So I think you need to spend at least 6 to 8 months focusing on your finances, figuring out a plan for yourself. If you're backed up on bills, figuring out how to get back on track. Like these things are important because you don't want to get with somebody and then like this is a perfect analogy. Like let's say let's say we had LeBron James in the room. Like he was on camera right now showing us drone footage from him in a basketball court, right?
Mm-hmm.
All of us would immediately start shaking our head if he was trying to do something with a flat basketball. Like he's not gonna be able to do nothing at all. Like we're just wasting our time watching him, right? So it's like he has all this skill, but the basketball is flat. So it's like, how are you gonna show us what you're able to do? So it's kind of like the same thing. Like if your bank account is flat, or like it can't show everything that you're trying to say you're willing to do, what are you really doing? Like you're not going to take her out for her birthday. You're not going to be able to do anything because you're not in a position to do anything for yourself. So, especially for all these people who are like listening, like you need to put yourself first, right? And you put yourself first by getting money into that bank account so you can feel better about yourself, so you can buy clothes that look good, and then like by the time is that time where you're looking for someone, you already feel good about yourself. You already told yourself like, yo, I'm in a place where I want to be, yada yada yada. So when that person comes around, they don't need to do all that stuff. If anything, they're just there for having conversations, having a good time, enjoying life, and building together. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it comes down to.
Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts, like it?
So I'm gonna play devil's advocate, but I'm gonna piggyback on what Vincent said first. My favorite line to any man who tries to be with me is that you have to love you before you can love me because if you don't love me, you can't love me. And I feel, and that's vice versa for me as well. Like if I don't love me, I'm not going to be the best version of a woman that I am for a man. That's just that, and that comes with different things. So my devil's advocate is, what about the person who doesn't require going out? They don't require this. They want to sit in the house and watch TV and smoke marijuana, and that's okay with them, and they love that. Like I said, I don't know where they working. They working at Food Lion,
Yeah.
making they money, and so is their girlfriend, and they got a child together, and they got everything. They're happy. They are happy. Now, me personally, do I think people who are not financially stable should be dating? No, I do not. But I think that the words financially stable are relative now that I've gotten older.
Mm-hmm.
It's like success. Success is relative, right? We all have our own definition of what success is. Success to them could be I graduated high school because nobody else in my family did, and I got a job because my mom doesn't work, my dad is on drugs. That's
Yeah.
success to them. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true.
Like I feel like it varies. We are just so fortunate to have grown up in households and environments that we see nothing but greatness coming from us, and that's just it.
I personally feel like
Like,
success is something that always changes. Like as you get older, every achievement that you have, it should motivate you to
mm,
get to another level of success. So like it could be your high school diploma, it could be your college degree, it could be your mental health, it could be a whole bunch of stuff that you define as success. I think as you get older, you understand what the word success actually means. It's covering each parameter
mm,
of each thing that you feel like you need to accomplish or take over. So in this instance, being financially stable, it should be you should view that as like a level of success. If you're financially stable, as you make more money at different jobs or whatever hustle you want to do, whatever it is, you have access to all those funds. You start building liquid. You start being able to invest. You're up. You know what I'm saying? So that you can do more versus not being financially stable, being an adult, having bills, responsibilities, kids, whatever it is, but not being able to actually cover all of those parameters. It makes you feel less of a person. So therefore, you get with
it
somebody.
makes you feel less of a person,
Yeah, it
Vincent.
make
The
okay.
three of us can
You're
have a
right. You're right.
conversation about the assets that we want to acquire in life.
Hmm.
But other people, they've never been in those rooms and learned and acquired that knowledge to even know about that. So
Well,
that's
all right.
why it's just like what we're talking about right now is not going to mean anything to them.
So I've been around people who are in those situations. The thing is, like you said, like we're fortunate enough to come from where we come from. But like I've been in those situations where like those people they're in those situations, they feel like that's it, and like they're sad. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody like me comes around, giving them advice, telling them what could be, it motivates them, and then they get up, they get back on their feet, and then they start trying to make moves.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, you're right. It is a mental thing. Like, we have a certain level of knowledge to be thinking like that. But these people just need someone to like motivate them. It's in there. It's in their heart. They want to do better. They see what's going on. They see the
Mm-hmm.
roaches running around. They see everything that's happening. They want to change it, but it's hard to like. I'm being real. I'm being as real as possible. Some motherfuckers right now, they got the roaches running around. They just staring at them. The roaches staring back at them. But ain't nothing they could do. They can't get out of that situation. So they just gotta deal with they gotta name each roach in the house because they gonna be in the crib with them for like a good 2 3 years before they figure something out.
So for my topic, I wanted to ask if you guys think that like chasing culture with dating is kind of like ruined things how the world is now. And I say that like to elaborate on that, I think a lot of times like we'll see stuff on social media like saying like, oh, why do you think relationships don't work this day and age, or like it's so messy and blah blah blah. And it's the same answer for me every time. I really think that like the way things are now, that people fumble good people like on a regular basis. And just from my experiences as well as like friends' experiences and whatnot, me being like the unofficial therapist, like most of my friend groups, I hear a lot of stuff. And like, you know, sometimes people are so obsessed with like making their like person that they're talking to chase that they ended up when they come across a person with standards, they end up fumbling. Now, just speaking from my personal experience, there's definitely not to toot my horn that have like fumbled me because I have standards, right? Like I think a lot of times it comes to like when a girl is like obsessed with trying to make a guy chase, to me it gives the vibe of like jump when I say jump, and I just find that pretty degrading. So like it's something that Vince and I have talked about a lot, and I know he can attest to this as well. Like I don't care how bad you are, I don't care how much chemistry we have, I don't care how much I think you fit into my future. The minute I see that you're making a conscious effort to get me to chase, I exit stage left because I feel like it's disrespectful at that point. And I just see it a lot. Like that's just like a common thing. And I think it takes losing the person to realize like, oh, like I was doing too much. Like I had a solid person. I don't know what I was doing. I wanted to get them to chase. So I want to get you guys' thoughts on that. If you agreed, if you elaborate.
I'm gonna say that I feel like, and I'm just gonna go back to social media. It really, a lot of women have a man that's so good. He's so amazing. But now you're consuming things. You're seeing Ari getting a Maybach truck. You seeing Carisha getting a Lamborghini. But my mother always told me this. I never envied anybody because my mother always told me you don't know what they have to do to get it, good or bad, right? You don't know. You don't know what's going on in that house. You don't know what's going on anywhere. But you know what's going on in your relationship with your man or your woman. So if you would focus on that and stop focusing on what you think people should think about your relationship and just focus on the things that you require for your relationship, things would last. But everybody is so fixated on what they see on social media that they don't even have their own opinion or boundaries anymore. That's all I can say.
No, that's true. I definitely agree with that. I feel like social media has created an avenue where people just feel like it's okay to ignore figuring out what they want or like what they how they perceive things, right? So a lot of people they just like she said, Ari getting the lamp the whatever truck, you know what I'm saying? Like people need to understand that like that's them, that's not you. And if you're going online, like let's say you have a very successful relationship, like Eric mentioned, like people need to realize that if you go online, you watch a YouTube video right now where someone's like clowning men or clowning women, that's their personal opinion based on whatever they went through. But if you want to pull little things out of that, by all means, pull little things out of that. But always have your foundation of your opinion or your viewpoint. If anyone gives you advice on something, like if you want to take some of that advice, by all means, go ahead. But there are often times where you're going to hear people talking about relationships or trying to give you advice, and you're going to have to make the executive decision to ignore it because you know that your relationship is in a certain direction. You know your woman, you know your man, whatever. Like you know your situation, you understand it. And it's been whatever you know or understand has been working for an X number of years and it's turned into an engagement, it's turned into a marriage. Whatever it's turned into, it's obvious that whatever formula you're using is working for you and that person. So once you bring external factors into what you've created, like social media, like which is stupid, then you need to expect what comes with that. And me personally, like I've seen a lot of really good relationships end because certain people want to sit down and give YouTube 45 minutes of their time to sit down and watch a bonehead who's just trying to get views and clickbait. Like he's telling you about merch and all this stuff. Like he just want you to click on his video and watch it. So you do that, and then you lose a relationship. You wearing his T-shirt now, but you lost your relationship off of what he said.
Yeah, I mean, I was speaking more so like not necessarily in like from a relationship standpoint in the relationship. I'm talking more like talking stage, right? And being obsessed with getting to chase them. I think that's where a lot of the fumbling happens because some people are just that obsessed with like they have to do X, Y, and Z to get me to court me. And you see it on both sides, to be honest. But like I said, I'm speaking obviously as a man and dating these girls out here. Like I see it, and I'm just like you're fumbling good people. Like I definitely have female
so
friends.
into the chase to the point where they don't realize they don't even see that they don't even remember the conversation they had with you because they worried about the next person that they're gonna go see and the next person after that. And then when they end up with the bad person, then they start remembering the conversations that you guys had around that table, and then they want to hit you back up and try to ghost the person that they're with now. So it's like it's a messy situation. But it's something that happens. Like it depends on the female you're talking to, or for females, it depends on the guy that you're talking to. Because there are guys, especially at our age, like who really just want to meet a woman who can have a good conversation, like listen to them while you listen to her. You know what I'm saying? But they just like no one wants to come home and argue every day or have like different.
They don't.
Like we just like especially now, like a lot of guys, they just want someone that they can build with, probably marry, have kids with, and just like travel and just enjoy life with. They don't want any drama. They don't care about what happened at the dance hall party last night. Who threw the bottle of Patron at whose head? Like they don't like a lot of people don't care about that stuff at this point. A lot of people just want to create their memories, have your kids, your house together, like whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There are people who like that.
Yeah, like the grandma said, God rest her soul. She said, "A man just want to come home to peace because if you don't find it here, you're gonna find it somewhere else."
Mhm.
That's it.
That's a fact. I've definitely heard a lot of like female friends say, "Oh, like it's going well, but like I just want him to like do a little more, like chase a little more," and like I just think that like the logic behind that is so lacking. Like I'm a big fan of like making things a two-way street. Don't get me wrong, but like I think you have to ask yourself: is the man chasing or pursuing? Like I think chasing and pursuing are two different things. I think pursuing, you're like letting it be known you have an interest in someone and you're getting somewhere. The relationship is growing in some way, and the person is letting you know that you're getting somewhere. But chasing is literally you just like running in place, and some people get a kick out of that. And that's what I'm saying. Like that's where the issue
Ooh, that
is.
was good, Eric.
You know,
That was good.
it's a bad. Glad you like it. I see it all the time. It's a shame. Like it just shouldn't be that way. Because like I said, two-way streets, all for that. But don't make someone one in place just because you need it in your ego to be like, oh, I got the beat out of my hands. I got them right where I want them type of situation. Because that's where like, I think the disrespect comes in.
I also
That's
feel
just
like
not.
dating now is so on top of the surface that people are not getting to know people and understand them. Right?
Yeah.
I one thing I do is if I take the time to say that I want to deal with somebody, or even in the talking stage, I ask questions. And some people forget to do that. Like, hey, what kind of relationship do you have with your mom? What kind of relationship do you have with your dad? What kind of dynamic did you grow up in? Some men don't have the mental capacity to love you the way that you think you should be loved because they just don't know how to. So now the conversation is like, oh, I require this. Do you think you're open to learning this? Not like, oh, I want you to do more and you think he's a mind reader. Or he might not even know how to do what you want him to do. But that goes back to what Vincent said when we first began. Communication is so important. And I feel like a lot of lack of communication is happening in the talking stages because between this whole chasing nonsense and social media, the women don't even really know what they want. They just see what they think they should want, and they're just like, "Yeah, we're gonna go with that." Or my friend told me this. He should be doing this, so I'm gonna say he should be doing this.
Right.
No, what
They
works
don't
for
even know if they want
you?
it.
They don't even know if they want it or not. They don't even know if they like it. Like they never spent time by themselves to really know what makes them smile. So if I never spent time with myself, I can never express to a man what I would like for him to do to make me happy or the things I want him to be a part of. And that's vice versa too. Some men are so simple. They just want to play video games and have your feet on top of them. That's it. They don't want nothing else. But some girls are like, oh no, we gotta do this, we gotta do that. Girl, all you want to do is some food and to feel your body next to him while he's cursing people out on 2K. That's it.
Yeah.
But you never asked him
It's
that
real simple.
question. You
Yeah.
never asked him the question, so you don't know. Or you think
Make
he's
sure
being
he's ambitious
distant.
though. Make sure he's ambitious though. Make sure he's not.
He could be ambitious and he could be ambitious and just get, y'all. Some of y'all like
No,
to
I'm
play
just
video
saying
games to
like
get
we
feet
got a
on.
lot of we got a lot of people who's not getting money, but that's what they doing all day. You know what I'm saying? Like
Oh, they playing
Yeah.
video games all day?
yeah, they're not getting money.
I'm not
But
into that
they're
kind of
doing that.
stuff.
Yeah, I'm just making
I'm
that
not,
clear.
I'm not
That's
into
a
that kind
separate
of stuff.
topic.
Like, it's a completely separate topic for sure. Like, I think it really varies, and people are just meeting people on the surface. And this whole
Yeah.
red flag thing, I'm learning that, like, this red flag thing is so social media driven that I'm trying so hard not to pay attention to it anymore because it's just like, I think we be creating flags out of nowhere. Sometimes it's not
Yeah.
even a flag we had in our head. We just saw something and we saw the person do it, and now it created a flag for us when it wasn't even one before we saw something on social media.
You just be like, I got
Because
the ick because he did that.
exactly, and it was just like, girl, you weren't thinking about that before.
Or
And it was
they don't even know if it's their own red flag. It's a red flag that their friend had, and they're like, "Oh, well, I should be somebody."
exactly. Oh, now it's my exactly. Now it's my red flag. Like,
Yeah,
girl, no, mm-mm.
it's a bad look. I
It's
mean,
a real bad look.
from like the chasing standpoint, if I'm playing devil's advocate, I could kind of see it from like, a logical standpoint, right? Like, let's say I'm the girl talking to someone or whatever, and like, so obviously we live in a patriarchy as we have in our entire lives in a culture. We probably won't live to see it change. But like, if you're a woman living in a patriarchy and you have this one thing where you can be in control, you're kind of gonna want to take advantage of that. Now, I'm not saying it's right, but like, that's what I can see that standpoint of doing it. But in doing that, you have to know you're gonna come across men that's not gonna stand for that, such as myself. So like, do you really want to be in control that badly, or are you gonna be okay fumbling ton of men a year. You know, I just think that's something that they should ask themselves.
Okay, that's fair.
That wraps it up for season 4, episode 1 of the Record Podcast. And we'll see you guys next time.